Hey, what's up, guys? Today we have a new video, and we're going to be going over some breaking news today. Now, it's already been rumored that former unified heavyweight champion Anthony AJ Joshua was going to be fighting Jake Paul in a Netflix boxing match. This obviously comes after the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight got canceled after Tank fought, got some new civil suit. Obviously, there's still allegations, but obviously Netflix, they weren't really going for that. They thought he was a brand risk. They didn't want him representing their platform on a big stage. So now they're going change of direction. The fight's happening December 19th, still at the Casilla Center in Miami. But instead of fighting a 5'5", 135 pounder who's still very dangerous, he's going after a 6'6", 250 pounder who's probably hits about twice as hard. So this is a puzzling move by Jake Paul, and I'm just going to kind of explain to you the fight, what we know so far. We still don't know all the details, but I'll be giving a breakdown later in a different video. But for now, I'll just give you a general overview of the fight. So this news broke first by Mike Coppinger from Ring Magazine, and a lot of people were kind of speculating whether this was a lie or not. Some thought it'd be a bait and switch that Jake was going to offer AJ a fight, but then there'll be a bunch of weird contract stipulations. Then AJ's like, oh, I can't do that. For example, maybe they'll say, oh, you got to have a catch weight, but it's going to be like 210 pounds. And then he goes, well, I can't make 210 pounds, right? And then Jake goes, all right, well, we'll move on to Nate Diaz then. Ha ha ha. AJ ducked me. That's why we have to fight Nate Diaz. But something tells me that Netflix, if they're paying a rights fee, they want a quality opponent. They want an opponent that offers danger, an opponent that offers name value and has a fan base. And I don't think they want a repeat of the Mike Tyson fight. Unfortunately, I don't think the Mike Tyson fight reflected that well on Netflix. It was kind of a clown show. A 60-year-old Mike Tyson obviously was not, supposed to be in the ring with a 27-year-old active pro boxer. So that's why they're going with Anthony Joshua, who, he is out of his prime. He is coming off a pretty brutal beatdown where he got dropped 3 times and then KO'd by Dubois. And there's a lot of questions about AJ. Is his chin going to hold up? Is he completely washed? Is he going to take a dive? And those are going to be the questions that'll be answered. And I'll also be doing a breakdown, again, as I said earlier. But let's just go over the news, right? So Joshua is 28-4, 25 KOs, and hasn't fought since September 24. Meanwhile, Jake Paul, since that Dubois loss, he's fought Mike Tyson in a sanctioned fight in an 8-round decision. And then he fought Chavez Jr. on DAZN in June, where he got a 10-round decision. And, there were kind of a lot of questions, or people were not too thrilled with Jake's performance. Let's just say that. Kind of those last couple rounds, he did visibly gas. He was getting tagged. He still comfortably won. And Chavez, at the end of the day, obviously washed, but is a real boxer, was a real champion. So I gotta get Jake some credit. After about 5 years of pro boxing, he is able to beat a former champion who's still in his 30s and is a similar size to Jake as well. Obviously not a natural cruiserweight, but you gotta give Jake some credit. He has been improving. He's, shown that he's dedicated to the sport. But this is a new challenge, right? This is not a 46-year-old Anderson Silva. This is not a Tommy Fury who's a domestic level boxer. This is not a 135-pound Tank. This is a guy who is somewhat, we don't know again. We don't know how washed he is. But as far as we know, not completely washed, still has some punch resistance left. Hopefully he does. And is obviously much bigger, massive height and weight advantage, and also experience advantage as well. Is AJ the most technically skilled boxer? No, but he's still an Olympian, still has over 30 fights in the ring. And again, Jake Paul is a person who went the distance with Nate Diaz. He went the distance with Chavez Jr. He went the distance with Tyron Woodley the first time, who's a wrestler. Like, this is not a high level, opponent. Jake is not a high level boxer, right? So this is, what makes it interesting, right? Because no, why? Why is Jake Paul doing this? I think that's really the question that we have to ask ourselves. Because the common theme of Jake's opponents have been that they're either smaller than him, um, less experienced than them in boxing, which is generally true for all of his opponents, except Tommy Fury and Chavez Jr., or they're either older, they're inactive, guys like Ryan Borland, who, yeah, is a real boxer, but was like working on an oil field or something in North Dakota and was out of the game for a long time, was not in shape. There's always kind of some stipulations where it's like, oh, this sounds, challenging on paper. Oh, he's 40 years old. Oh, he's inactive. Oh, he's a bare knuckle fighter, but he's not really an actual boxer. Like, but this is where, if Jake were to beat AJ, you can't really make any excuses, even if he's washed, even if his punch resistance gone. I mean, this would be one of the biggest upsets ever if Jake were to win. I mean, I don't know, like, would he get a undisputed, or not undisputed because he vacated earlier today, but a unified title shot against Alexander Usyk? Would he fight Tyson Fury instead of Tommy Fury? Like, what would happen after this? But, obviously more information is going to go down, but, it's looking like this is going to be a pro fight, 10-ounce gloves, 8 rounds, which is interesting. I thought they would maybe go for 10 rounds. Uh, but yeah, who knows, man? And I know that if AJ does not knock out Jake Paul within 3 rounds, I would say, people are going to say, is he taking it easy? Is he carrying him? Is he going to take a dive? Like, who knows, man? But I mean, I have to be honest, I'll be intrigued. I don't know what to expect. Is he going to kind of carry Jake, kind of how like Jake carried Mike? I think that's a real possibility. Is he going to go and try to banish Jake from boxing, just like how he banished Francis from boxing? I don't know. Is AJ just completely washed with no chin and he's going to get caught and embarrass himself even worse than he did the last time he fought in the United States against Ruiz? Who knows, man? But I think we can all agree that Francis Ngannou is kind of an idiot in the business sense and he should have taken the fight. But yeah, breakdown coming soon, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of this fight.